Dreams of a New Recreation Center. Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, with an excerpt from the June 18th, 2019 City Council meeting.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. I have to tell you, this is probably one of the most exciting presentations in my 18 years that I'm able to present to you. To me and the community, it's a dream come true. And so we are here tonight. This is Gabriel Salazar. He is going to help me. We're just going to kind of tag team it as we talk about the Prop 68 grant. He has been an amazing godsend that has helped us collect all of our data to give to the public health advocates and KDI, and I'm so grateful that he has been a part of this process. Jose?
Yes. For the benefit of the council and also our public, just wanted to give a little bit of background before Mr. Salazar actually starts with his presentation. We're very fortunate from the standpoint that we've had a long relationship with Kanat, who is actually part of Public Health Advocates. And so even before the Prop 68 grant opportunity came to be, we were tag teaming on different efforts here in the city. And so one of the neat things about Public Health Advocates and this Prop 68 process is that we actually get an extra point as part of our application process by partnering with an organization as such. So every point counts, folks, every point counts. So we're very fortunate about that. The other underlying piece of all of this is that they actually were able to get some money from a foundation, and that money that they actually obtained, they're going to be paying the grant writer to actually do the grant writing for us. So, man, I can't tell you how fortunate we feel for the help and also for the coverage of that cost. And then it doesn't stop there. They are also covering the cost of staff, their staff coming out here and having all these workshops that we've already had. And then in addition, the little goodies that they give out, the surveys, and then the team that they're working with as it relates to the design, because we don't have anybody on staff that, knows about, recreational design and, form and function and all that, those kind of things. So in essence, we're very, very fortunate to be partnering up with these individuals, these organizations, and then also Mr. Salazar, who happens to be a Livingston native that came back to the area. So thank you very much. Continue.
I think it is on, okay. So as long as we keep talking through it, so I'm going to get our slide thing here.
Thank you. So thank you, Jose, Jackie, the residents of City of Livingston. We've had an extensive process involving, like Jose said, public health advocates and also KDI. We've had 5 public meetings where we've solicited input from the community on what they would like to see in this former warehouse that was used for the sweet potato business recently. It's associated with the Livingston Farmers Association, which was established in 1918. But since then, they broke off and they got back together in the 1950s. So this facility that we're talking about is about 3 blocks down between 6th and 7th Street, C and D Street. There's a lot there on the south side of D Street, and then there's a lot immediately in front of it, a small parking lot that we're using for this project, and then northeast of that to the right, if you want to click it, Jackie, there's another parcel that will be part of this park project. And what this is, it's a state-granted fund. Like Jose said, we're going to be able to get monies. If we receive the award, we're able to receive money to purchase the property and also with the construction associated with this project. As part of Prop 68, there's $650 million that's going to be dispersed and distributed throughout the state of California. They're looking for park place opportunities in areas that are low income, working class. They're in high need of public parks because where these park projects are located, they're in areas that are park poor, where people have to walk too far to use a public open space. With this opportunity that we have here, what's great about it is that, like I said, we're going to reuse or hoping to reuse this former warehouse facility for sweet potatoes. And it's going to be a good opportunity where we're going to have a recreational facility anticipated with 2 courts, also a dance room, a classroom with computers, also a commercial kitchen, also some nice art features outside, like a mural we're anticipating to use, a recreational facility, features for kids, children's playgrounds. We're going to have a small children's playground, a larger children's playground. Also, depending on the configuration there was 3 conceptual plans that were developed by the community. But going back to this, as you can see, the population here is 3,500, and the people in poverty in this area, which people in poverty equates to $36,000 per year in annual median income per household. So like I see, this is kind of like an area of the community where there's no parks that are immediately available, there's no health centers, fitness centers, anything like that, so it would be a great opportunity for the community to take advantage in the immediate vicinity, but then also around Livingston during the summer months where it gets hot. It'll be a good opportunity for them to use this. Yes, go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, so we basically, in order to go after, we wanted to look at the best, to get the maximum amount of points, to have the best opportunity to actually land some money. So we had to look at the different census tracts within the city of Livingston. And so, and then identify the best project, again, to get the maximum points and be able to leverage and get the money. So this area was deemed to be the best opportunity for us in Livingston. Again, we want to give thanks to our partners because they actually helped identify the census tract and answer all the questions that needed to be answered to actually come up with a project. Lastly, we're looking at getting site control of the facility. We're in negotiations now, and we'll talk about that a little later. But this is why this area was selected.
So as part of the grant, we had to have community input. And why was that? Because they wanted us to create a better project by having the community input. They wanted the community to develop a sense of ownership for the project. And it helped us identifying and cultivating leaders as we had all of these workshops. So our first engagement, as many of you may remember, was outside of the basketball games. Your kids brought stuff home from school, and we conducted a survey. So the survey identified challenges. We had 780 total surveys collected, which are the folks writing this grant were just amazed at the turnout and the support from the community to get this kind of turnout. We had 159 in person, we had 141 online, and we had 480 surveys collected from our schools. So some of the questions were like, what types of things do you like to do in your spare time? What makes your neighborhood unique? And they asked people what are the top 2 priorities that they had for their neighborhoods. And as you can see, this is the response that we got.
Okay. Is it this one? And then, so the community identified, like I said, in collaboration with KDI and a PHA, brainstormed ideas in terms of strengths and challenges for the community and what were the recreational opportunities that we would like to see in this area of Livingston. And as you can see here, we had PHA as a facilitator, so they had these boards in terms of where we identified what were the things that we would like to see, the things that the community would like to see in Livingston, what were the strengths, there was points that were earned for different projects. So for instance, like a recreational facility with with courts earned a certain amount of points. If it was a park feature, like a children's playground, that earned a certain amount of points. So basically there was 240 points that we had to target, and that was the goal, to get as many points as possible, so that it would make us a better candidate and more likely eligible for this grant opportunity.
So all of the surveys, they combined the results of the surveys, and it was the job of this committee that formed in the last picture as to how would we address the needs that the community wanted to see addressed. And so the three groups came up with all of these different ideas on addressing the challenges.
And you can see, like, there from the first group, they identified, for instance, classrooms, job center, Wi-Fi access, commercial kitchen, a gazebo, shade and trees. And also part of this project, it's anticipated to have, I think, 20 trees as part of this project as well. And then there's group 2 identified other features as well, like swings, art studio, music room, parking lot, playground, those kinds of things. And then you saw group 3 again with the performing center. Some of these goals or objectives kind of like were cross-referenced and mentioned by multiple groups, and you could see here how they were used throughout. Okay. And this is kind of like what we alluded to earlier in terms of properization. Yeah, sorry, it was 250 points, not 240 points. I apologize. But there you could see how the groups identified the points and where they ranked. So, for instance, like a large community center, medium size would equate to 90 points. A running track was 50 points. Concession restroom 40 points. So you see, kind of like the priorities and objectives of each of the groups, and they had pretty common themes. Like we could see that all of them ranked high on the community center, medium-sized facility. They all wanted, for sure, like. Let's see, a Ninja Gym was in one of them. Wi-Fi, being able for the opportunity to the community to use that as well. Large playground was used by 2 of the groups. And on the bottom right, you could see there, those were kind of the areas that the groups agreed on. Sorry. And you see there from the table, community center was like ranked number 1. The concession restroom number 2. Shade structure large number 3, and then you can see kind of like the tabulated points and what these amounted to for the project. And this is kind of just a visual of what those points and what those objectives, uses of space meant in visual form. So you could see the community computer room, the commercial kitchen, you see the large playground, you see the splash fountain that could be used by kids, the playground again, the tent to cover the area, the shade structures as well, grill, music art studio as well. So these are kind of like the things that the community came up with, what they would like to see in this new recreational facility and then / park space. And they did, PHA was helpful enough also as well to facilitate, we as a community had to get creative how we would like to see this look out and how it played out there. So we were given, the community was given different Post-its. So for instance, like the courts were about, let's see, like 12,000 square feet. And there was the commercial kitchen, which was 2,000 square feet. So we had to kind of figure out with the 3 groups where they wanted to see each of these items located. They had to figure out a space for the parking, for the courts, for the large playground, for the small playground, for the splash, for the art pieces. So you could see there what the community groups came up with, and you'll see in the next slides how that translates on here. It's part of this process related is also too where we had a survey, and then the community provided in the last farmers market meeting last week. We had over, I think it was 80 surveys that were submitted by community members in terms of where they compared the designs and which they preferred. Like they preferred the overall layout for the first design. If they prefer the parking layout for the first, second, third, they were asked to pick which ones. Where they prefer the spacing of where the bathroom was to be located, those kinds of things, and that was part of the concept design review process. And Jackie has those boards as well, and those were the boards that the community used, like we said at the last farmers meeting last week. And this is what group number one came up with. There you could see I'll go over here, sorry. There you can see where the first group wanted the courts side by side. They wanted the classroom computer area here. They wanted the lounge in the middle space area, the commercial kitchen outside. We're also expecting and hoping that you could have kind of like an open commercial kitchen where you could be able to see outdoors as well. They wanted the location of one of the bathrooms here on the bottom. And then they had a parking lot designated right there on that side. All the groups had the parking lot on that side as well. Just in terms of where the parking was located for each, they were in different places. This group number one preferred that their parking lot be in the corner right there of 7th and C. And then you see the large playground, and then you have a large green open space area on the right-hand side. This is group number one. They deferred a little bit in terms of what they wanted to see on this area. They wanted the classroom here, also the music art studio. Their courts kind of differed from the first group where they were more like on top of each other. The stage, they prefer that to be in the middle. The thing is that the stage is going to be movable and mobile, so we'll be able to shift it and move it however we want, how we see fit, depending on the event or the exercise, the activity that's going on there. There they wanted to see, versus the first group, they wanted to see the commercial kitchen on the bottom, facing this side of the area, and seeing this public open space. They had the picnic area at the bottom. All three groups prefer that their public art piece be in this area. What's cool about that area and what we saw with the community through the tour of the facility was that there's some rail spurs that are located there. And Mr. Jim Snyder was able to tell us that those rail spurs were used back in the day to pack and put some of the fruits that were going to be traversed and shipped to other parts of California. So they were able to use this rail spur all the way to where, I think it's Santa Fe, right? Correct, if I'm correct. So it's pretty cool how that was used in the past, and the community members expressed that they would like to see maybe like a cool art feature associated with that because it's part of the history of Livingston. And there you could see they're a little bit different in terms of how they had the layout for this parcel here that's vacant right now. But they had a lot more activity going on here, and they prefer that the parking be towards the end of the structure so that people would be able to walk through this area. We're thinking like a little walkway path from here, and they'll be able to access this recreational facility as well. And then this is the third group. The third, similar to the other group, had the courts side by side. This group preferred that there be a lounge here, and they recommended that they have a music art studio in the middle of the facility, picnic area in the bottom as well. Here they wanted the classroom computer lab. Again, there's a parking lot. Their parking lot over here on that 1 acre site is kind of like narrow and kind of allows for people to maneuver in and out and park and drop off their kids. And it seems that it allows a more wider, more horizontal range of the park there for the community to access and use.
So the survey this last one that we took last Thursday night, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But the groups came up with these concepts, and then it went back out to the community again, of which we had an overwhelming response. Of a lot of them are here tonight that have had the input. And they were able to do a survey that says, okay, we like number 2, but we'd like the parking lot moved here. Or we like number 1, we want to change things around. So really, we've gotten a lot of different ideas. They even got to choose what kind of gardening, the types of play structures, and so forth, as you can see up here. Even as far as public art goes, they got to choose, the styles that they liked best. So this is at KDI now. They're looking at it. Hopefully next week when we bring our resolution to you, or next meeting when we bring the resolution to you guys, we'll have even more details to present to you.
If you're subscribed to the channel already, you might want to check and make sure you're still subscribed so you're notified whenever a new video goes live. And subscribe if you're new. Until next time, this is the gardening snail of Livingston, California, because not every critter is hiding under a rock.